Welcome to day 3 of 31 days. I've been saying 30, but 31 days. I just realized there's 31 days in January of mindfulness meditation that is helping us get centered in our vision for ourselves for the year and to integrate discipline and a sacred practice to help us just really be clear on what it is that we want and what it is that we're calling in. So today we're just going to jump straight in. Today is centered around the sacral chakra, which you tell by the title is to be in a flow state, to be in our creativity and be in a place of willingness to surrender to the ties that may come about when we are in alignment, because alignment comes with many highs and lows, and to be in flow is to be like water and to be in a state of surrenderance. I don't know if surrenderance is the word, but to be in a place of surrender in that. So good morning. So like I said, we're just gonna go straight in. Let me just hide the chat. Not that I don't want to chat with you guys, but I find it to be a little distracting for myself to facilitate the meditation and want to tune into the chat. So we can go ahead and begin. We're going to start with just a few simple breaths, tapping into the sacral. And so this is going to be also including some body movement. So it's just going to be a inhale, moving your body in a circular motion like this. So we're going to do 5 going left and then 5 going right. So we can begin and just inhaling for a half circle, exhaling for the other side, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhale, exhale, and last one in this direction, inhale, exhale, and then switching positions or directions, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, 2 more, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and then come to center. Hopefully that open up your hips a little bit, and whenever we are more open to the energy flowing through our hips, we are opening the energy from our lower halves of our body to our top, so therefore we can be more in a state of flow throughout our whole body. Okay, and we can begin the meditation now, closing our eyes. You can do this sitting up or lying down, whichever is most comfortable for you. And if you are not in a state where you could do meditation right now, like you're driving or you're busy, this will be posted on my channel, so you can come back to it whenever. And this is day 3, so if you do want to go back to review day 1 and 2, you can do that as well. But let's begin the meditation. Go ahead and close your eyes and just begin to tune into your breath. Take notice of your inhale and your exhale. Bringing your awareness to the flow of oxygen, expanding your body with each inhale. and then releasing. When we tune into the breath this way, we realize we are always in a flow state. We are always flowing between our inhale and our exhale. We are always surrendering to each breath. That surrender and flow is a requirement for life. So when we bring our awareness to this, we can utilize it for our everyday. Whenever we feel resistant, wherever we feel like we need to forcefully do or be something, we are reminded that that's not in our nature. As long as we come back to breath. That we are constantly in this ebb and flow through our life. And that a lot more ease can come in when we surrender to the tides, to the flow of our bodies, to the flow of our breath, to the flow of our thoughts. Even in meditation, often people think they have a hard time meditating because they can't stop thinking. When meditation, it's not a practice of non-thinking. It is the practice of observance and a practice of flow. The willingness to allow our thoughts to flow like water. To be present one moment and released in the next. And we started this practice, this 31 days, with a vision in mind, our vision for ourselves for the year. Flow is so necessary for us to reach our goals and aspirations because it is not linear to get there. We get the spark of inspiration, the idea to create, and in our vision we get the overall, the big picture, the full manifestation. But we do not get the how. We get the instructions through the highs and the lows, through the ebb and the flow. And so the more that we resist the highs and the lows, we miss out on the instructions. We miss out on our own tool of navigation. We miss out on the divine communication that happens with each breath, with each surrendering. And sometimes we could get stuck in the frustration of feeling stuck or stagnant. But it is only because we have lost sight of we are exactly where we need to be right here in this moment. And as soon as we can accept that and surrender to where we are now, we move, we flow to the next state. Just as simple as meditation. When a thought comes, it is not for us to forcefully release the thought. When we accept the thought, we can move on. We can release. And we don't have to hold on to everything that we are thinking. We only have to accept that the thought came. We don't have to reject it. We don't have to abandon it. We get to allow it. Allow it to exist. Allow this moment to exist. Allow the resistance to exist. And just come into acceptance that this is exactly where we need to be. This is the exact thought that we needed to have. This is the exact breath we needed to sustain life. And as soon as we accept that, we exhale. We move into the next phase of our cycle, even if the cycle is breath. When we inhale, we accept that we are breathing in new life. And as soon as we accept that new breath, we exhale. We release. We let go. And this teaches us we can't hold on. That breath and life is fleeting. That we are forever in a flow state. That we are never really stuck or stagnant or blocked. That we are always in a state of processing, in a state of movement. In a state of surrender. And because of this, we have will, we have choice. Are we willing to let go and release what is causing us to be resistant? Whether that be fear, whether that be disappointment, whether that be the belief that we should have some sort of control. Our control and our will comes in what we allow, what we accept. What we choose to believe. So we can choose to believe that we are stuck and that we are stagnant and that we have to forcefully create in order to manifest the things that would bring us joy and happiness. Or we can believe that with each breath and each day that God gives us instruction, and that the instruction comes at the exact moment you need it. Just like our breath. Our inhale knows exactly when to come because it is activated by our exhale. So when we need direction, know that the call has already been made. There has already been an active part of us seeking direction. And so we know that's automatic. It's nothing we have to do to send out that signal. That instead we just need to be in a state of allowing that messaging to come. And that messaging comes when we are still. We're in a place of awareness and being mindful. Because when we are not in a flow state, our breath can become labored, our coherence can become chaotic to where we're not listening. When we're not in a flow state, we're in a survival state. And when we are only trying to survive, we are focused on survival. But the flow state asks us to not just be in survival, but to be in a state of thriving. Because in order for us to reach our goals, our dreams, and our highest and grandest desires, it asks us to surrender. It asks us to be willing to thrive. To move in alignment, to become a energetic match. And sometimes that takes time. Sometimes that takes movement. Sometimes it takes healing. And healing happens when we surrender. Healing happens when we surrender what we think we know. When we can surrender to becoming a student. When we can surrender to become receptive. When we are open to receive the communication in that direction is when we receive it. So when we are feeling stuck or stagnant, that is the question. Am I open to receive? How have I blocked my flow? How have I become not like water? Where am I rigid? Where am I resistant? When you ask those questions, be ready to receive them. Be ready to sit with the answer. Be ready to surrender what comes up. And that's how we get into a flow state. When we can become neutral, and no matter what comes up, it is neither good or bad. It is just what we need. And that we don't have to have judgment about where we are in this moment, that we can accept ourselves through all dispositions. When we can do that, we flow. Then we are unafraid to be our full selves. We are unafraid to love. We are unafraid to receive love. We are unafraid to receive abundance, because we are putting ourselves in a space we are neutral to. If it doesn't come, it doesn't come. To be in a place of non-judgment, to be in a place of acceptance of what is here for me now is what I need now. And yes, we may have dreams and visions of where we may go, but in the in-between is where we allow our belief systems to be reflected back to us. And that's where we have to get into a state of surrender. So that we can surrender an old belief for a new one. So that we can move on without judgment, without guilt or shame. That we don't have to hold on to what was. Instead, we get to thrive in the becoming. And so, let that be something that you take with you today and all days going forward. Whenever you feel resistance, whenever you feel blocked or feeling like things are just not going the way that you envisioned, bring yourself back to your breath, back to your inhale, back to your exhale, and remember that when we surrender, when we release control, and when we get into a flow state, we come into acceptance of what is, and we open ourselves up to what could be. We open ourselves up to new possibilities. Begin to wiggle your toes, your fingers. Come back to center. And I pray that this blessed you today. I pray that it is something that you can come back to throughout this practice. And I will be back tomorrow with a new meditation. Bye for now.